Ever thought of getting lost in a desert famed to be the driest place on earth? The Atacama Desert is the desert plateau in South America, covering a 1600 kilometer strip of land on Pacific coast west of Andes Mountains. Welcome to It's Tomorrow News. I am Hena Talati. Today let's understand about the driest desert, Atacama. The Atacama Desert is the driest non-polar desert in the world, as well as the only true desert to receive less precipitation than the polar deserts and the largest fog desert in the world. Both regions have been used as experimentation sites on the Earth for Mars expedition simulations. The desert owes an extreme aridity to a constant temperature inversion due to the cool north-flowing Humboldt Ocean current and to the presence of the strong Pacific anticyclone. The most arid region of the Atacama Desert is situated between two mountain chains of the sufficient height to prevent moisture advection from either of the Pacific or the Atlantic Ocean, a two-sided rain shadow. The Atacama is the driest place on the earth other than the poles. It receives less than 1 millimeters of the precipitation each year, and some areas haven't seen a drop of rain in more than 500 years. The Atacama is the oldest desert on the earth and has experienced semi-arid conditions for roughly the past 150 million years, according to the paper in the November 2018 issue of the Nature. Scientists estimate that the desert's inner core has been hyperarid for roughly 15 million years, thanks to a combination of unique geologic and atmospheric conditions in the area. This perfectly patched inner desert region spans roughly 50,000 square miles, according to the soil scientist Ronald Abundanson of the University of California, Berkeley. The Atacama is tucked in the shadow of the snow-capped Andes Mountains, which block the rainfall from the east. To the west, the upwelling of the cold water from the deep Pacific Ocean promotes atmospheric conditions that hamper the evaporation of seawater and prevent the formation of the clouds and rains. In other deserts around the world, like the Sahara, the mercury can soar above 50 degrees Celsius. But the temperatures in the Atacama are comparatively mild throughout the year. The average temperatures in the desert is about 18 degrees Celsius. The Atacama Desert is 50 times drier than the Death Valley. As you would expect, very few animals have been able to successfully adapt and inhabit in this barren, dry landscape. The small numbers of the insects in the region become a prey of the lizards, whilst an occasional bird of prey can be found hunting for the prey. Mammals are equally rare, with mice and fox among those you may encounter periodically. The outskirts of the Atacama are home to communities of the organisms that have adapted to thrive in the harsh conditions. The desert's hyper-arid core, however, is largely devoid of the plant and animal life, save for a few strains of the microbial life. Scientists hope that studying the dry, dusty conditions of the Atacama will reveal secrets about the key of their life in other parts of the universe, such as Mars. On average, the driest parts of the Atacama receives less than a millimeter of the rain each year. In rare cases, torrents of rain do fall and the life responds. In 2017, wildflowers bloomed the aftermath of the dramatic downpour, and similar rainstorms were reported in March and August of 2015. Although the rains awakened the fields of the wildflowers, the floods had devastating consequences for microbial life in the desert, which had adapted to survive without water. Many microbes in the desert's hyperarid core, for instance, burst after absorbing too much of the rainwater. Scientists suspect that these catastrophic storms may become more frequent as the climate changes and atmospheric conditions in the Pacific Ocean fluctuate. Instead of making the desert drier, climate change could actually make it wetter, scientists reported. Much of the Atacama Desert's core is caked in thick salt deposits called playas, which can stretch for miles and are nearly half a meter thick in some places. The desert is speckled with the stones that have been carried across the playas by the powerful wind gusts. Alluvial fans, which are large, fan-shaped sediment deposits, connect the desert plateau with the mountains that surround it and suggest that water once flowed from the Andes into the desert. The Atacama also features a 700 kilometers and 20 kilometers swath of the desert known as the nitrate belt. Nitrate minerals can be found in everything from the explosives to fertilizers and were mined extensively in the Atacama before the 1930s. Other minerals such as lithium, copper and iodine have also been mined nearby. In some cases, the remnants of these mining operations can be seen from the space. The Atacama is so arid that many mountains higher than 6,000 meters are completely free of glaciers. Only the highest peaks such as Ojos de Salado, Monte Peces and Ulailaco have some permanent snow coverage. Studies by the group of British scientists have suggested that some riverbeds have been dry for 120,000 years. In June 1991, Antofagasta and Tal and inland regions as far as Calama received unusual rainfall leading to formation of a series of mudfloods that killed 91 persons. The climate of the Atacama Desert limits to a number of animals living permanently in this extreme ecosystem. Some parts of the desert are so arid, no plants or animal life can be seen or survive. Outside of these extreme areas, sand-colored grasshoppers blend with pebbles on the desert floor, and beetles and their larvae provide the valuable food source in the lomas. Desert wasps and butterflies can be found during the warm and humid season, especially on the lomas. Red scorpions also live in the desert. Only few hardy mammals live here, including the vizcacha, the South American gray fox, and Darwin's leaf-eared mouse. Birds are in abundance, from Humboldt penguins along the coast of Andean flamingos, which feed the algae and vascular plants in the salt lakes. Some rarities such as Tamaragua cornbill, Chilean woodstar, and slender-billed finch can be spotted in the vegetation-prone areas. The Atacama is sparsely populated with most towns located along the Pacific coast. The world's largest telescope, ALMA, is situated at the Atacama Desert. The Atacama Desert plays a host to 3 different kinds of flamingos at its fragile Soncor ecosystem, a series of interconnected lagoons. It's a very important ecosystem as it is the Andean flamingo's breeding ground. The Humboldt penguins are the only penguins that live in the desert. To escape the heat, they swim in the Humboldt currents created by the coastal waters of the Chile. That's all for now. For more news updates, stay tuned with us. It's Tomorrow News. For more global weather updates and documentaries like this, subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon for regular updates.